Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this video from, and welcome to another episode of My Hair, My Journey. If this is your first time seeing me or you're a returning viewer and subscriber, hopefully, my name is KK, and today I have with me one of my really good friends. Her name is Fancius. Get it correct. A lot of y'all try to butcher my good sister's name. It's Fancius, and she is here to share her hair and her journey with her natural hair with us today. So before we get into today's interview, as always, please like this video, share this video with your friends and family, and of course, subscribe to the channel for weekly content. On this note, this episode of My Hair, My Journey will begin in 30 seconds. So guys, welcome. As you know, My Hair, My Journey is a platform where we celebrate as well as educate people on natural hair. If you can't tell, I'm trying to work that into a slogan, guys. Tell me what you think about it. But as I said, I have my good friend Fancius here with me today. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Fancius, and then we're going to bring her on and we're going to facilitate a beautiful conversation about her hair and her journey. As always, if you have any questions for either her or myself, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below and we will answer them. So, Fancius. Fancius is a past student of the prestigious St. Rose's High School. Big up everybody from Roses right now. I just want to put that in. She's also a University of Guyana graduate, and she's a budding attorney with a newly found interest in practicing eco-friendly habits. She has been a naturalista all her life, and she is still learning of new ways to manage her hair. So without further ado, let's put our virtual hands together and welcome Miss Fancius Gittens to the My Hair, My Journey show.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey,
Welcome. Welcome. Tell the people hi. Tell the people what's up.
Hi, everybody.
Great. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this, for coming on, for your support as always, just as a friend, and even for being willing to do this with me.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. So I read in your bio that, you have been natural your entire life. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Because you have not gone through the chemical phase as a lot of current naturalistas, including myself, went through. So what was that like for you? And maybe even in answering that question, you could talk about if you ever had any time where you were like, I want to go and straighten this hair, even though you didn't.
Okay. I had a chemical phase, but I'm gonna get to that. So being a naturalista my entire life. Your mom's convinced of my Christmas tree.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I know. She loves Christmas, so.
So being a naturalista my entire life, it always made me somebody who stood out because so the culture is in Guyana where as soon as you write the entrance examination to get into high school, everybody straightens their hair, everybody puts chemicals in their hair. And my mom just said, no, like, I'm not putting any chemicals in your hair when you get to age 16. So I always thought of myself as very childish, being a first former, second former, third former, going through high school with natural hair, because everybody's hair was just straight. Everybody's hair was straight. Everybody had the opportunity to use certain styles on your hair, just loosen out, and I couldn't do that. My mother was still giving me plaits and some protective styles. So I was probably the only person in my class with natural hair. So it was my intention to fit in. So I decided that I would start, when I started combing my own hair, I started putting a lot of gel in my hair to make it really straight and really neat. So I found that that's what I started doing. So I was never doing hairstyles that was suited to my hair texture and my hair type. I was doing hairstyles that was suited to hairstyles for straight hair and hair with chemicals. So
Yeah.
I was just packing gel in my hair and constantly putting it in one. Like my hair was always in one and extremely neat. I did not look like the regular natural hair girl because my hair was always very, very neat. But yeah, and when I got to age 16 and I said, okay, I'm going to straighten my hair, I still didn't feel right. So even though I was of the age, I just grew so accustomed to my natural hair. I said, okay, I'm not gonna straighten it. I'm gonna flat iron it. So I started flat ironing my hair, and I started just trying to be more versatile. I said, okay, I'll color my hair as well, and that's where I actually endured some heat damage. So they put some chemicals in my hair to achieve a particular color, and after they did it, I went home and I started to wash my hair. I realized my curls were not coming back. And that was when I actually experienced heat damage and just chemical damage in general. I didn't know how to feel about it, to be honest, because it was like I always wanted a particular length. I wanted my hair at a particular length. And I had the length, but I didn't have the curl pattern that I was accustomed to. So it had me feeling a bit uncertain. But yeah.
That's a whole experience. And I know what it's because from, well, school of me was, but yeah, from for the entire, like, the 5 years of high school, I was also in protective styles as well. I wasn't straightened when I, went to sixth form, but that's a whole nother story by itself. But so I know what it's like to be in high school. For me, there was I had one other person in my class when I was in high school that had natural hair, but our hair textures were different. Mine was a little bit more coarser than hers was. So I was more of what they would call in the struggle at the time than, her. But it is what it is at the end of the day. That's our experience. So as you said, you were in high school your entire life with your natural hair, and then you started trying to gel and all the things to, make it look a little bit neater than you. So unfortunately, in Guyana, many girls who decide to wear their hair natural, especially in the high schools, they get fight down from teachers, from the headmistress. I'd say from the system, because it's the rules that in place that they're really just trying to enforce, even though some teachers do go overboard. So is that your experience? Because we hear girls talk about being pulled out of assembly lines or even being embarrassed publicly in assembly forums because they're natural and the hairstyle that the teachers want, their hair can't do it. So have you ever experienced anything like that while attending your high school?
Like I said, I always made sure my hair was very, very neat and just in one. So I
Okay.
never experienced anything of that nature ever. It was always my intention to, as much as possible, abide by the school rules. I just knew that I couldn't leave my hair out. I just knew that, so I would constantly just keep putting it back.
Okay. Okay, I get that. So that's good. I'm happy that you didn't have that experience. That's great. So you talked about your heat damage. I'm very sorry that happened, by the way. But so is there like a piece of advice then that you would give to somebody who is like probably like was doing what you were doing to try to get it straight? What would you tell them?
Don't do it. Don't do it. When I did it, I thought I would have been happy because for so many years I always wanted to add chemicals to my hair and just make it straight. But remember, this is the hair that's actually growing out of your scalp. And after all of these years of nurturing your hair, you will not be accustomed at all to this new hair type. It will take a while for you to manage it. It took me a while to get accustomed to my newly damaged hair. It took me a while and I never truly got accustomed to it because after maybe a year of having that type of hair as a particular part of my head too, I just decided that I couldn't do it anymore, so I decided to cut it off. Like
Mm,
I didn't do a big chop like everybody else would have done. I
mhm,
picked the portions of my hair that were damaged and I just clipped it off. Like I just cut.
mhm,
And there was literally a period. So most of the damage occurred at the front of my head. So there was literally a period where the front of my hair was like this short. And I had bobby pins just to keep it in.
mhm,
But my hair was
yeah.
still in one. So I had the length to the back. But the front was
Mhm,
really short. So I was just sticking bobby pins until it grew out. And to be honest, even after it grew out, it never regained its original texture. It never did. I got it
mhm,
several times hoping that it would. And to this day, it's 2020. This heat
yeah.
damage happened since 2016. And I've
I,
never, it never went back to
you
its
know,
original state. So don't do it.
yeah. You heard it here. Don't do, like, I don't know what else to say. Just I agree with you. Don't do it. And I mean, you said you cut it several times, and unfortunately, these can be some of the repercussions or things that happen. But you heard it here. For if you're contemplating doing it, you have somebody here who is not just talking. Like, this is her experience. So don't. I would just don't do it. So I have a question for you from the comment section. Do you ever wear your hair wild and natural? Do you ever do the fro?
I do, but I don't like to, honestly.
Mm,
Sometimes you're still criticized for it, and
mm,
I never wanted to be the person who stood out because of my hair. I'm still working on
mhm,
that, but I generally don't feel comfortable just being that odd person out. So I try not to wear my hair big because I mean there are just a lot of different dynamic that we have to deal with. I mean, you could lose
mhm,
your hair out and from the time you step out into public, there's a gust of wind and the
mm.
hairstyle that you had is no longer there. And
Yeah.
I just, because I'm so accustomed to constantly having my hair neat, it's unusual for me to have my hair wild and natural. And the few times
Mm,
that I do it, I mean, some persons, they say, oh, you have beautiful hair, you should let it out more often. But
mhm,
sometimes you still receive negative comments from persons. So I remember I believe it was last semester, I went to school with my hair loose. Like I combed it out and I just let my
mhm.
hair loose. And I remember there was my classmate, he actually started laughing, like, oh, ha ha ha. And I couldn't
Um,
understand why it was
yeah,
funny.
funny to him, yeah.
Like, why is
What's
it
the
funny
joke?
that I let my hair out loose? Right?
Yeah.
And the part that really struck me the most was the fact that he was somebody, like he didn't have my hair texture, but his hair texture was much coarser than my hair was, and
Mhm.
he wore his hair high. So if you're a person who would wear your hair high, why am I being bashed for wearing my hair low?
Exactly.
It was very
Exactly.
confusing. So I really try to stay away from situations like that. So I just decide to put my hair back and keeping it neat.
Yeah. I was definitely about to say that. And it's so unfortunate because it can really sometimes be your own kinfolk
Yes.
that can make you feel like your hair is not beautiful. Like, people will have the most awful things. It's literally just about your hair. Like, there are
Yeah.
people starving. Why are you commenting about my hair? Like,
Yes.
leave me alone. So that's just the energy I try to keep some people sometimes. But you said something earlier. You talked about earlier, but you just mentioned it. But I think it's profound and interesting because I feel like we have a lot of naturalists, both men and women, in that position where they're at a place where they don't necessarily like to stand out when it comes to their hair, even though our hair, from the time you comb it out, it makes a statement. That's how I
Yes.
see it. So I wanna saying that, and you being in, you're a budding lawyer. So eventually, if y'all chat to me wrong, Fancius Gittens will get you, right? Because she's a budding lawyer. So so you spoke about, so I know that you're a budding attorney. I read it in your bio, and you said that you don't like to start with your natural hair. So how is that? How does that work? How does that dynamic work? Because unfortunately, we are told that our hair is not professional. It's not neat. So people, a lot of people would put braids, or we see a lot of males now doing protective styling as well. A lot of males are into faux locks and all these things now, because they want to wear their hair out, but we can't wear it necessarily the way we would. So how does that dynamic work for you, being an attorney? So of course, being a budding attorney, you're around budding attorneys with your natural hair. How does that dynamic work for you?
To be honest, this topic is a bit conflicting for me because I know for me, I wouldn't find it as that much of an issue because, like I said, I grew accustomed to just putting my hair neatly in one. But then there are times when I would do things like twist outs and I would want to leave my hair out, but I would always think again because, I mean, when I do a twist out, some of the hair would be in my face. So I would wonder, like on certain days where I would have classes like trial advocacy, where you're required to have this courtroom attire, I would second guess wearing my hair out because it's it's not.
I get it. You just want to be on the safe side. Yeah.
Acceptable per se. So it has always placed me in a position where I felt uncomfortable, but I think about other persons as well and how they would have their hair, and somebody whose hair might not have the length that my hair has and their hair might be shorter, it would be an issue. But I think we still need to address it as a society.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as you were talking. I was thinking it's probably a conversation that needs to be had, because I wouldn't want, if you have a dream, then I wouldn't want, your hair shouldn't limit your dream or shouldn't stop you from being the best lawyer that you can be. So I think it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had, especially in our society, and I think in the Caribbean at large, because we're still now learning or more accepting of natural hair than we were, let's say, 5-10 years ago. Yes. So I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. And, I love talking about hair. So I would love to be, I don't plan to be an attorney. The judge would kick me out of the courtroom, but I would still love to be a part of the conversation if possible. We have a comment coming in for you. It says, I fully understand your point of view, but never be afraid to be you. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. And I think that's so important to remember. We are all beautiful, all fearfully and wonderfully made. And we must never be afraid to be us. I think that's so important. So now let's dish about products. What are your go-to products? What products would you recommend? And I know this is I know some of your friends have been watching, like, Fancius, don't put that in your hair. Like, some of your friends. Like, it's just like, but it's your hair and your hair journey, okay? Yes. So you tell them, tell the people, some of the products, the things that you would do and put in your hair.
Okay, so I am a naturalista, but I am fairly cheap. So everybody knows that going natural in this natural hair journey is very expensive. But I believe my issue wasn't necessarily the cost. It was just the fact that after looking at so many different YouTube videos with so many YouTubers speaking about their natural hair and purchasing products, and I remember when there was this rave on YouTube about Cantu products, which was literally the
Holy Grail.
And everybody started saying, oh, they put sulfates in their products, it's not good for your hair. And then when it wasn't Cantu, Eco Styler. And I think at this point, I just decided it makes absolutely no sense for me to invest in my hair to purchase these hair products that aren't good for my hair. And I said, natural is best. So I started Googling home remedies and DIY hair products, hair conditioners. So something that I used for many years was aloes. So I have aloes in my backyard. So I would put that in my hair. And I would mix like these egg and coconut oil or these different.
I do the egg mayo deep condition. That's what I use to condition my hair.
Just go in your fridge, look, see what you have. I recently learned about coconut milk as a conditioner, as a leave-in conditioner.
Oh, nice.
So I've been using I've been focusing on home remedies, but I must say that I a few months ago, I started using this Garnier leave-in conditioner in
Mm-hmm.
the green bottle, and that has been working well for me. But other than that, it's very simple. I keep it very simple. I try not to just overload my hair with products. I try to keep it
Mm-hmm.
simple. A moisturizer, gel, a must
Yeah.
have gel, a moisturizer, gel, and
Uh-huh.
oil.
You know what? It's interesting, because of course we have the naturalistas that are in. Oh my God, like you have to have coconut oil, castor oil, you have to have like all these things, and I always like to hear when natural, like not, I'm saying like natural naturalistas. Those are the ones that use the natural products. I'm always intrigued at what I don't want to say you guys, but let's just say it, you guys put in your hair. And your hair is beautiful, it's long, it's lush, so it's working for you. And I think that's always the takeaway, that this is what works for you. So even if you're like, yeah, it's what works for you. And I'm happy that, the natural stuff works for you. Like you said, the aloe grows in your backyard, which I think is so convenient because then you don't have to go
Yeah.
looking for it, scrape,
Yeah.
in your backyard. I feel like that's so convenient. So that's great for you. So I want to ask you if there's ever been a moment, or I'm sure you had one, where you were most proud of your hair.
Probably the first time I did an amateur blowout on my hair,
Mm-hmm.
because somebody told me about it, and I said, okay, let's give it a try. And I did the blowout, and for the first time, pressing on my hair earlier in life,
Mm-hmm.
it was always one or the other. Decision for is a decision against something else. So you can have the length, but you're not gonna have the volume.
Yeah.
And if you're keeping your natural hair, you're gonna have the volume, but you're definitely
Yeah.
not going to have the length.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I found and felt as though the blowout was the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
It's when I did my first blowout, I had the length and I had the volume. And there
Mm.
was a third aspect to it as well. My hair felt so much lighter and more manageable.
Yeah.
And I just
Definitely.
loved it. So from the time
Mhm.
I saw it, I said, wow, this is definitely something I need to do. This is,
Uh-huh.
but it takes a while, so, and then it's heat as well. So I try not to do it as
Mm-hmm.
often
Often.
as usual people would do it. But that's
Yeah.
really the time I felt most proud of my hair.
I like it. I like it. So we have a question about your coconut. Thanks for the coconut milk tip. And I guess how long do you leave it in your hair? So I guess you have to tell the people, how do you use this coconut milk in your
Well,
hair?
people use it. People use it for both. So people would mix it with other things, maybe like
Mm-hmm.
avocados, to have like a
Okay.
conditioner, a
A
deep
conditioner.
conditioner. So you
Mm-hmm.
would put it in and you would rinse it out, maybe half an hour to
Mm-hmm.
45 minutes. But I had also noticed that people said you can use it as a leave-in conditioner, and I found
So
that
you
it
just
works well. So
uh-huh.
you just put it in a spray bottle
Mm.
and you spray it on your hair and you keep it moving.
Yeah.
And I found it was convenient for me because I constantly spray water in my hair. So instead of
Mm.
spraying water, I would
You
spray
for coconut milk. Yeah.
yes, and it your hair feels fine. Like it has a sheet. It works
Yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever get you smell tropical comments? I'm just I'm just wondering if
I've
anybody's ever like, oh, you
I've
smell.
I've never
Never.
gotten that comment. No,
Oh, really? Oh,
no.
well, I
I
guess.
I. I usually mix it in with the Garnier leave-in conditioner as well,
Oh,
and
okay.
that smells amazing. So
Okay, so they smell that. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So before we wrap up today's interview, I just wanted to leave one piece of advice for the naturalistas. Usually I try to narrow it down, but I just want you just speak. This is your time, you just speak. So just give a piece of encouragement, advice to our naturalistas that are listening. And even the non-natural. Just give some advice, girl. You got
Okay.
it.
All right. So this is my advice. It's 2020. We're heading to 2021. There are thousands, probably thousands. Okay, I don't know if that's correct, but there are a lot of persons on YouTube telling you what you should and shouldn't do with your hair. Don't listen
Mhm.
to them. What works
Mhm.
for them might not work for you. It might not. Okay, just
Mhm.
explore I mean, I know it sounds a bit cliche, but you really need to explore and find out what works for you. You won't know the good of a certain product until you try it. So, for example, I a lot of persons spoke about the Eco Styler gel, and they would say, "Oh, this is the holy grail." And I tried Eco Styler, and I just found it didn't work for me at all. I didn't like it. It had my scalp feeling as if it was on flames, and I from this experience and these experience, all you need to do is try it. Okay, start with home products. Look
Products, your
in the
natural your
fridge,
home remedies, yeah.
take out mayonnaise, use your oils. Oils are the holy grail. Do your research. Google is free. You can get any information you want. Do your research and just try new things on your hair and see what works best for you. That's the only way you can truly get to understand your hair and cater for it the way it needs to be catered for.
I like that. You need to try. And I feel especially for like let's say budding naturalistas, it's trial and error in your beginning. Trial and error is the best thing for you because you don't want to invest a lot in something and then it doesn't work. So trial and error is always good at the beginning. Fancius, darling, my love, thank you very much. I totally enjoyed this conversation with
Me
you.
too.
I had such a fun time. I'm happy that you had a fun time as well. If you're going to look at this as a rebroadcast, if you would have missed this live episode, then if you have any questions for Fans, just leave them in the comment section below and I'll ask her to just hop in and answer them. We have another comment coming in that I'm going to read quickly. It says, excellent advice. Everyone's hair journey is different, so we all need to find what's best for us. And that's absolutely right. So, guys, this has been another episode of My Hair, My Journey with my good friend, Fancius. So please leave a like, share it as always, and of course, subscribe to the channel for weekly content. Every week, I'm bringing on somebody that's sharing their journey and you don't want to miss it. So until next time, this is your girl KK. I'm with the beautiful Fancius Gittens, and we are both saying goodbye.
Bye.